So let's get into today. Let's not waste time. Got a lot I'm super excited about today. And I met with three agents over the past 3 days. All right. And there were some questions. And I also met with another friend about a week ago that was like, hey, tell me about this real estate thing. What does it do? And it sparked the question, what does a realtor really do? And we're going to kind of do a sort of a deep dive on that. There's obviously tons of things. We're not going to talk about CRMs. We're not going to be talking about market reports. We're not going to be talking about all those things, that we do as well. This is like your number one job and what you do consistently, right? As you have a listing appointment, obviously you do those things. But we're not going to get into all of it. Maybe we'll do a part 2 of this. But I'm going to open this up real quick. If you were to answer that question, because I get that a decent amount, if you were to answer that question, what is it that we do? Can anybody share? And how would you answer that question? How about, I'm going to call on somebody. Christina. Tell me, Christina, how would you answer that question? What does a realtor do?
Well, I guess it depends kind of on, who's asking. Is it a potential client or is it someone that's looking at getting in the business?
Okay. Let's go ahead and say it's somebody that's getting into the business.
Okay. So someone getting into the business, because I definitely had no idea what being a realtor entailed when I first got into it. And I don't know what I thought it entailed, but I know it's different than I could have ever imagined. So for someone getting into the business, I would say it's, meeting or gaining clients and meeting with clients and possible people that you can help by helping them buy a house or to sell their current house or both. So it's all about clients, relationships, and getting them into their next home.
Cool, you get it. So you're hearing our message loud and clear. So I'm really glad you answered that way.
Yay!
That was a very good answer. Correct answer. 100 on your test. Colin, is there anything else that you could add to that, or are you just gonna say ditto? Or how would you answer that question if you had a friend that was thinking about getting into real estate? And they go, what do you do? Like, what is your job?
I would say that you would be an advisor and a guider on a home purchase.
Okay.
At the end of the day, that's what you're doing. Short and sweet. You're advising them and you're guiding them to their biggest purchase ever.
Sure, absolutely. And that's obviously extremely important, right? So that's definitely a part of it, right? So good answer. I'll give you 100 as well. Tristan or Tony, is there anything that y'all want to add or any input on that?
You go ahead, Tony.
Okay. You need to maintain a database where you can follow up with your clients and the potential clients that are maybe on the edge of the fence, whether they're going to buy or not.
Yeah, I like it. And Tristan, you had something?
I'd say to a potential client or someone, people that you're talking to, you could say that you help make dreams happen. You put people in their spot, you help it, I like that thing that Colin said, advisor and guider. I'm an advisor and a guider to making your dreams happen.
I like it a lot. And here's why I'm shaking my head a lot. We're all on the right track. And pretty much everything that everybody just said is in this slide presentation. All right. And so let's get into it. Some great things there. A day in the life of a realtor, right? Number one, I think we connect. All right. And I think this is probably the most important thing. Right. And then once we get to that person that's ready to buy or sell, then obviously, we make dreams come true. Right. We connect with people and we help people with their pain and pleasure. All right. We are problem solvers and dream makers. All right. And that's really kind of what it boils down to. All right. This business is, again, a relationship business. All right. We create relationships. So think about all the relationships you had before you even got into real estate. All right. So you have like what we call the sphere. Maybe that's 50 people, maybe that's 200 people. All right. So we have those relationships already. We're going to nurture them. We're also going to create new relationships. All right. And meet different people in different varieties of ways and continue to let that sphere grow while still nurturing the relationships that we already had. All right. And we're going to help them whenever they need help. Right. We should never really go to anybody that we know and go, hey, you want to buy a house? Hey, do you want to sell your house? Now we can provide value that might make them think about it. For instance, we give them a real estate review and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know that the value of your house has gone up by $60,000 in the past year. This is the value of your home. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. Just wanted to provide some value to you. All right. And that's exactly what I did back in November. And guess what? That person goes, they raise their hand and they go, hey, I think we're going to think about selling in 2022. And I said, perfect. The thing that I did worked, right? But I didn't go to that person and say, hey, you should sell your house. All right. So help them when they need help. We generate business, we convert that business, and we stay in touch for life. All right.
Real quick.
Yeah.
What do you do to start the conversation? I mean, how do you approach talking to somebody?
So today I went to the grocery store and I just got some new business cards made. So I have like this goal where like I'll go into a store or a place and I'll just like look for someone. It could be a guy or a girl. And the first thing you could do really is just like give them a compliment. Be like, oh, hey, I really like this outfit that you have on today. I like this and that. And then they'll say, oh, thank you. You made my day or whatever. And you say, yeah, I just noticed it and wanted to say something also. And then you can continue on and say, oh, I have these business cards. So like, oh,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Great point. Great question, Tony. And so a lot of this is going to be general information. And then the back half of this, I'm going to show you detailed of like the people that I've talked to in the past 2 days and like how I met them, what I said, what did I do? And now they're on my list of follow up, right? So you mentioned about like following up with people. So there's different things which we'll talk about here in a second for sure, and hopefully answer that question for you. If we don't answer that question, please ask that when we wrap up here. Cool, thank you. We're going to stay in touch. Once we convert them and once we do a sale with them, we can't forget about them. All right. So now I have, I'm in my third year, and now I have a list of all of my past clients, right? And I kind of review that from time to time and go, let me reach out to them, see how they're doing, whatever it is, see if they need anything. All right. And what I can do to provide value. So how do we generate business? This is probably the most important thing in our entire business. You could be the best person at creating a CMA and you have nailed it down to the dollar of how much that house costs, right? That doesn't matter if you can't generate the business. And it really boils down to these things, in my opinion. I do want to do a quick disclaimer. None of this is original. I'm not saying that this is the one and only way to do it. This is just what I've learned through many, many teachers over the past 2 years and what I've kind of put together in this short presentation. So there's plenty of things out there, but these are the kind of the nuts and bolts of it, in my opinion. Let people know that you're in real estate. You have to they have to know that you do this for a living. All right. And how do you do that? How do you do that? Well, you make a social media post. That's what I did. All right. As soon as I was official and licensed, I did a huge social media post. All right. And it had like 250, 300 people like and comment on it. And it kind of exploded. And some of you have a larger following than I do. And you're going, that's not very many people. Here's the thing. Ninja Selling says, however many people know and like and trust you, you can count on $1,000 of income per person. So let's say you have 50 people that know, like, and trust you, and you're just being in contact with them and they know that you're in real estate and you're helping them with whatever they need, you can count on $50,000 approximately of income, right? Obviously, if you want that to grow in income, you need to meet more people and get your sphere bigger than 50 people. And there's ways around that to do that here in a second. Stay relevant by being in the field. All right. I cannot tell you, well, I'll tell you right now, in the past 3 days, 3 people in my sphere have reached out to me because of my social media post. If you follow me on social media, you're going to notice that I'm pretty darn consistent, at least Monday through Friday. And it's pretty much all geared towards real estate, right? And I do have a plan. It's not written down, but it's written down up here. And it's pretty solid. Of Monday, when I wake up, I do my social media. I do Motivational Monday, right? And I go to Pinterest real quick and I find it. I do a 30-minute block of finding, creating, writing, and posting to my social media. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do my property of the days. So I just go on the MLS, find a cute house that people are going to go, ooh, I like that. All right. And they're going to comment on it. All right. And that created a buyer consultation that I had last night that went great. Right. Because he was like, hey, tell me about this property that you posted on Tuesday. All right. But you have to do that consistently. You can't just throw up like one post this week and not do anything and expect, people to ask you about it. It could happen, but you have to be consistent about it and be relevant and being in the field. People notice when you do a bunch of open houses. People notice when you're doing house tours. People notice those things and it pops up, and now you're just staying relevant without even having to reach out to them. It's just the people that are seeing it and going, oh, okay, yeah, he seems to be doing quite a bit. People are trusting him and working with him. We market ourselves and properties, right? A lot of it through social media. This could be email marketing, right? Sending out newsletters, sending out holiday emails. Mark Chambers is great at that. Sending out a letter of the heart. These are all things that we've talked about. And if you go, what is he talking about? Please go to that Productive Agents group and go all the way to the bottom and start watching all the videos, right? I don't even know how many videos are up there right now, but it's probably between 10 and 15 videos that have great information. Mark shared some great information a couple of weeks ago. Most of them are me. Shane has done one of them where he's shared great information. So I truly believe you'll get a lot of value out of that. And again, we'll continue to go over these things as the year progresses, but we're not going to get into that today.
What is the link to the videos?
Yeah, it's going to be in the Productive Agents group. Are you a part of that group right now, Tony?
No.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to make sure, I'm going to jot that down right now, that I'm going to add you on Facebook. So you need to have a Facebook to get into here.
I do.
Okay. And I'm going to add you, and then I'm going to invite you to the group. Okay.
Okay, great.
I think we're friends on Facebook, and I'll invite you to it here in a little bit. And a copy of this presentation will be up tomorrow, and with all the others. We're going to check in with our people. All right. We're just going to stay in touch. And again, I'm going to get into all the details here in a second, but we're going to do sphere of influence. All right. Which I'm sure a lot of you have heard. This is database. It's interchangeable there. All right. We're going to do open houses. All right. This is how we meet new people. So if you only have 50 people in your sphere and going, hey, I want to make more than $50,000. I need to go meet more people. I'm in a new market. Maybe you moved. Then you need to get out in the market. You need to be active and be out showing houses, doing different things. I'm not against, I've probably done it before, but I'm not against this. If your business is slow right now, and maybe you don't want to do an open house, but you want to be out in the field, go set up a showing by yourself and do a video walkthrough. Nobody knows that you're not with the buyer. All right. Just do like showings this afternoon. All right. You don't even have to show the buyer, just do a quick little video, a story, a post, or whatever it is. But that activity, I guarantee you, is going to pay off. I remember Mark Chambers sitting down with me. I think Mark's in here. You with us today, Mark? Yeah, there you are. And I was bummed at the beginning of my career. And I said, Mark, help me figure out how to communicate with my sphere. All right. I'm not really doing anything with my sphere. And he goes, you're doing quite a bit with your sphere through your social media post. Because that was one of the things that I committed to. And guess who's on your social media? Your sphere. I mean, maybe not all of them. Some of the older people aren't on social media, right? But that contact is great. We have some videos up on that Facebook page about marketplace ads. These are free. and they work. I have a listing appointment next week with somebody that I met here. They want to list their house in Lavernia and move out to Bernie. All right. I'm like, okay, that's 2 deals. Let's get after it. Social media, big believer in this, but I'm also not one of those people, one of those agents that lives on social media. I post in the morning at 7:30 or whatever time it is, and then I leave. I get off of social media. I go to work. I look at my database. I look at the people that I'm working with right now, or the potential people that I'm working with. And every now and then I'll see comments. So I'll like that comment or whatever. And there's a social media strategy that I use that I believe works. And we could talk about that later. But I'm not obsessed with it, but I am pretty consistent with it. All right. And then you do Mets. These are people that you just randomly meet. All right. Sorry, I missed his name. Maybe he hopped off already. Tristan. Tristan, introduces himself, and says, "Hey, I like your outfit. Here's my business card. You're looking sharp, right?" And I met somebody yesterday at Starbucks, and this older gentleman walked in. He sat down at the table that I was sitting at. All right. And it was kind of a small table. And I said, "Hey, good morning. How are you doing?" And he saw my computer set up. And he said, "Hey, do you mind? My friends are going to be coming in here shortly." Said, "Hey, I'll relocate." I gave him the table, right, for him and his friends. I relocated to a small table by myself. I introduced myself. "Hey, I'm Tony Ruiz. Nice to meet you." And of course, he's like, "Yeah, what do you do?" And he saw my EXP sticker on the back of my computer. And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm in real estate." So immediately, and of course, I have him in the other room. I highly recommend that you carry business cards with you at all times. All right. Rick Tankersley said it's the rubber band trick, right? You're always carrying 20 business cards with you in your back pocket with a rubber band, right? And any opportunity that you get, you introduce yourself to somebody. You're talking to anybody. You go, "Hey, by the way, here's my business card. I'm a realtor. Let me know if you ever need anything." Take it a step further, all right, and try to get their contact information, all right? Say, "Hey, this is what I do. This is, do you mind if I get your contact information," right? And figure out how to say that. And I was listening to the podcast that I shared on that group of Ricky Carruth, right? And he said, everything is a practice run. Everything is a practice run. I've had 3 buyers consultations in the past week and a half. All right. My first one wasn't nearly as good as my last one. All right. It was good. It was solid. But as I'm driving home, I'm going, "Oh, I should have done this," or, "Oh, I should have done that," or maybe I should do this before that. All right. And you're always thinking, and guess what? The second one was better. All right. And then the third one crushed it. All right. So you're always learning. You're always adapting. So let's keep pushing forward.
Do you use KV Core?
I don't use it. I'll be honest, I don't use it, and I'll show you what I use in a second.
Okay.
But again, help them when they raise their hand. Again, all these things, you're just staying in contact, you're staying relevant, all right? Your presence is known as a realtor, and then all of a sudden they go, "Hey, tell me about that house that you just posted. I really like it." Oh, they raise their hand. Now I start taking action, right? Now I don't like chase them and hunt them down and do all that. When they raise their hand, that's when I go in and help and do that. Every person is unique and has a story. And you need to connect with them and see where you can help them and be a part of their life forever. We're always trying to add, how many contacts a week can you add to your database? You have 50, can you go get 5 more and have 55 this time next week? Can you get 5 more? If you did 5, added 5 contacts a week, what is that? Real quick math. That's 20 in a month. All right. And that's over 200 in a year. All right. And let's call it 150, just because we're probably not going to do that every single week. You might be on vacation, whatever. But that's a lot of contacts. And very quickly, your database has grown. All right. And I guarantee you, the more contacts you have / people the more contracts you'll have. All right. So get contact information. as much as possible. What is prospecting? All right. I heard this before when I first started, and I was like, what the hell is prospect? What does that even mean? All right. Let me simplify it. Don't think of it as prospecting. Prospecting is just staying in contact, reaching out, making contact, right? So I reach, they responded, there's contact, one way or another, right? A text message. I just sent a bunch of text messages to, my hot, warm list, and then they respond. Now we got a connection. Then we say, hey, how are you doing? I'm doing well. Or, oh, we got COVID. We're recovering. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. All right. I hope you recover. Let me know if you need anything. All right. If you need me to pick up any food for you or whatever it is, I'd be happy to do that. All right. Anything like that, you're helping them. All right. And they're going to think the world of you. And there's no way they're going to use another realtor besides you. All right. You're going beyond being just I'm going to sell you a house. All right. What does your follow-up look like? There's a lot of people that are like, I follow up on day 1, then I go to day 2, I do this, day 3, I do this. I don't believe in that. Again, going back to every situation is unique. So I'll show you my list here in a second. And I go, this person, I'm only thinking about that person. I'm going, what do they need right now? Do they have everything? Is there something that I can give them to help in the process of the sale of their home, the buying of their home? How do I get this person interested in buying a home? They said that they were sort of interested. That's why they're on this list. How do I move them into the next step? All right. I do that. I check it off the list. I go to the next person. Each person's unique. All right. So I don't believe in a strict, this is how you follow up. Now, online leads, we can talk about that some other time. Yeah, there's kind of a process to that. I'm reading this book right now that's really good, and I want to share with you guys probably in the next couple of weeks as I wrap up. But there are some systems to that, but I do think everybody's unique once you get them into your hot, warm list. What is marketing? Social media is marketing. All right. If you do a social media post, if you do social media stalk, I'm all about the stalking. And it works because you're staying relevant and your name is popping up. Another term that you'll hear is stay top of mind. Stay top of mind. Well, how do we do that? We just stay connected. All right. And that's social media keeps us connected. Preston Fox is an ex-student that some of you might know. He graduated in 2010. And he's the one that reached out to me. I literally haven't spoken to him. He went to UT, moved up to DFW, worked. Now he's back in San Antonio. He saw my post on Tuesday and he reached out. He was not on my sphere, but guess what? He's on my sphere now. My sphere just grew, right? All because he saw a social media post and social media kept us connected, all right? So I truly believe that that's really important, right? Of course, there's email marketing, which I'm trying to pick up this year and do consistently because guess what? There's other people that aren't on social media, but they like the email stuff. There's also, can you mail out something monthly or every other month, like a letter of the heart or something like that? Again, those people see that, feel it, they like that. So you're trying to hit every single person, right? The different types of people. Some people like the social media, some people don't. Some people like the email, some people don't. Some people like the mail, some people don't. All right. So those are the things, and we're not talking about marketing your listing and all that. That's another topic, but this is talking about marketing your business, right? What do I say? Hey, how you doing? I mean, it just depends where that conversation has been. If it's been totally cold, I would have never reached out to Preston Fox. And shame on me, I probably should. But I mean, he's been so far removed of an ex-student that I just don't. I mean, I have plenty of contacts that I'm working with right now that I might meet more at an open house that I do or my Facebook marketplace, but I'm not going all the way back to the very beginning of my teacher career to talk to every single student. But guess what? A lot of them have always followed me on social media. And now that they see that I'm doing well or doing something in real estate, they're starting to reach out to me, which is really cool. All right. How do I get them under contract? We're going to skip that for now. Again, that's just when they raise their hand. Then you meet with them, right? And you go, hey, this is the process. This is what we're going to do. This is all the things that you need to think about and the money you need to think about, etc. All right. This next slide we're going to get into. Let's take a quick little break. Do we have any questions, any thoughts? Anybody want to share anything? Shane, you're awfully quiet. You got anything?
It's because once I start talking, it's hard to get me to stop.
That's true. You only have 30 seconds.
Kind of to piggyback, of course, onto what Tony said, I know somebody asked, like, what do you say? That's a great question, because you got to know what to say in the moment, because you don't get the moment back, right? If you're at Starbucks or if you're wherever you go, you should know, like, I'm going to ask a question that gets the answer that I want. And I want them to ask me, what do I do for a living? Or I want them to ask me about the market. I want them to ask me something so I can say, I'm a realtor and the market is incredible. And how can I help you? And so, I preach that to everybody I talk to. I'm so fluid at it. Sometimes I'm like, why am I even asking this person? I don't even want to know, but I get them to tell me, and I get them to ask me the right questions. And
so Shane, that's a great point. And I think the easiest way to get them to ask me what I do, because that's a very important, like, I want them to know that I'm a realtor, right? And when that goes off, most of the time people are like, oh, really? And then they start thinking, right? Almost every time they do that. But the easiest way is, hey, step one is like, hey, how are you doing? I'm Tony, right? And usually when you give your name, what are they going to do?
Give their name.
They're going to return their name. Oh, nice to meet you, Tony. I'm Christina. All right. Oh, great. Christina, what brings you into Starbucks today? Do you work around here? You live around here? What do you do for work? Oh, I'm in IT. I do this and that, blah, blah. Guess what they're going to say? Well, what do you do for work? And it's literally that simple. Like, you need to know those 2 or 3 questions. Introduce yourself, give your name to get a name. All right. And then, how's your day going? Little small talk, build that quick little rapport. Hey, you look awfully nice. That's a nice suit you're wearing. What do you do for work? And then they tell you, and I'm like, oh, what do you do for work? Boom. I'm in real estate. Boom. It's going to trigger something. 98% of the time, it's going to trigger them to ask about real estate. Well, this is great, blah, blah, blah. I got to run. Cool. Great. Here's my card. If you ever need anything, here's my card. Give me a call, give me a text. Oh, by the way, my social media is on the back. Make sure to follow me. A lot of great information on my page. Post daily, right? Boom, done. And hopefully that maybe you even get their contact information. But that was a reach and a touch and a connection. And like, I don't have the contact information for Bruce Bradbury, which we'll get into, but I'm going to look him up and find out what his property is on the BCAD, because I know his name, Bruce Bradbury. All right. And I know he lived for 15 years in his house up, close to Timberwood Park. And he actually mentioned that, I think we're going to sell here soon. So I gave him my card, and he was real reluctant on giving me his contact information. I said, okay, that's fine. But guess what he told me? This is gold right here. Shane, you're going to like this. He said, oh yeah, me and my friends come here every Wednesday and, just catch up. So on my calendar for next Wednesday is I'm going to show up to that Starbucks with the CMA printed out with his property going, here's the value of your home, sir. I just wanted to let you know. Let me know if I can do anything. Well, bam. Oh, bam. And it's going to happen. Like, if I do that, it's almost a closed deal right there. So it's little things like that. All right.
Yeah.
Let's keep pushing forward, because Shane could talk for the next hour.
Yeah.
Questions I get, and this is kind of what triggered today's idea of the class, right? Hey, bro, where does your business come from? I got this a few times in the past couple of weeks. Again, not to brag, because I posted that video and they're like, damn, you did 6.3 million only in your second year. That's pretty awesome, right? And I was like, yeah, man, thanks. And of course, they're like, what are you doing? How are you doing it? All right. And we'll get to that in a second. I had another person that was, kind of interested in real estate. And what do you do on a daily basis? Like, what it is that I do? What does the job entail? All right. So this is really what triggered this whole thing. And we're going to take an inside look into my business. And again, this is not the one and only way to do business, but it works. And really, I attribute all of it to Shane Tokum. All right. And if you're here in San Antonio, you need to meet with him. You need to come to next Wednesday's training, which we'll talk about. And I'm planning on hosting a live training here in his office next month. Pretty much this, and hopefully a more elaborate insight on it. But you're getting an inside look up to this. So let's see. Step one. This is my daily habits and routine. All right. I post this again, not to brag. And I know everybody's situation is completely different. All right. But you need to plan out your day and week. And you need to go, okay, well, I have to take my child to school in the morning. And then by this time and this time and this time, I have to run around. And I don't really get time to sit down and work until 10 a.m. Okay, great. What are you going to do at 10 a.m.? We'll talk about that in a second, right? 10 a.m. to 12 or whatever that block is, you need to go focus and do this, right? This is what I'm doing because my time is limited and I got to crank it for these next 2 hours, all right? My schedule is pretty open right now, but last week I started waking up at 5 a.m. and I kept on saying no to that. We talked about this last week and it's changed my life. I feel amazing. I can't explain it. I don't go to bed that late, but not that early. I went to bed at 10:30 last night. All right. And I actually woke up before my alarm went off. My body has already adjusted to it. And I get up and I do my workout. And then after my workout, I do 30 minutes of silence, affirmations, visualization, and scribing. And I got that from Miracle Morning, which we'll continue to preach about, but that completely changed the trajectory of my life and career. And I'm forever thankful for that. We could talk about that later. If you have questions about it, please let me know. 7 o'clock, I get in the shower and I get dressed. 7:30, I'm doing my social media post. 8 o'clock, I leave for Starbucks. All right. And I go to the local Starbucks. And I noticed this about myself, and I learned it when I was teaching, is I used to go into the band hall, all right, and work, and teach. And then I would go, okay, it's lunchtime. I got to get the freak out of here. Like, I got to get outside of these walls, and I have to see other human beings besides these kids and these teachers. So I just love to get out and go to lunch and just not even talk to anybody or interact, but just have people around. All right. It just made me feel good. All right. And that's what Starbucks does for me. When I get to Starbucks, I do 30 minutes of reading. All right. And that completes my lifesavers, which is another topic. And then at 9 o'clock, I'm sitting down and I'm opening up my computer, which I'll show you in a second. And I'm getting my greatness tracker out. And I'm going, okay, it's time to fill this bad boy up. This is what I'm going to do. This is my plan. All right. And then I go to lunch at 12. All right. And just think about this. From 5, that's 7 hours right there. From 5 to noon, 7 hours that I'm working either on myself or my business. Every single thing. 7 hours already. I could call it a day. I mean, most people work an 8-hour shift, and I just put in 7 hours of work before noon. All right. That's talk about being productive. Talk about, doing well. All right. And this is what millionaires do. And we'll talk about that in a second, because quick, funny story. I did have to schedule this because my mindset is work. And sometimes I forget about life, other stuff that I have to take care of. All right. Oh, I got to set a doctor's appointment. Oh, I got to pay that bill. Or, oh, I got to do this. So in my calendar, which I'll show you in a second, from 1 to 2, I block out an hour every day to go, what is my personal to-do list? All right. Like, oh, I got to get that stuff done too. I can't just forget about it. All right. So block it out. And then at 2 o'clock, I'm either working here at this office a lot of the times or going on appointments. Yesterday was crazy busy. And 4 to 7 is kind of blocked out for appointments, right? Or showings. But If I don't have that, I'm working from 2 to 5. Office closes up at 5. I head home. So I had 7 hours of working on myself or my business, plus another 3 hours of working on my business, making contacts, writing up whatever I need to. That's way more work than 95% of realtors do in a week, right? But you're going to be the top 5. You're going to be doing something like this and be the 5%. All right. So I joke about this. This happened to me. Was it yesterday, Shane?
Yes.
My mom, right? So I'm getting dressed, I'm feeling motivated. I've been pushing for the past 2 weeks. And my mom goes, oh, by the way, I'm living with my mom because my house is being built, right? So she goes, you're going to work again? And I just said, millionaires work every day and I want to be a millionaire. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. And it's clicked for me. I know in my true heart that I'm going to be pulling in $1 million of income by the time I'm 40, without a doubt. And you can hear it right here. It's going to happen. I'm 37, be 38 this year. I'll have 40 plus personal agents in my organization on my first line. And I'm going to be at least selling 300,000. The more that I say 300,000, Shane, the more I go, that's selling myself short, like already. Like I know it's going to be more than that by the time I'm 40, and it's like, well, if I just do those 2 things and I know how to do those and I can teach you how to do the same thing, I guarantee you, if you do that, you're going to be pulling in $1 million a year. I don't know about you, but that'd be pretty damn cool to be pulling in $1 million a year. All right. And it's totally possible. And you got to believe it. So let's jump into like what this actually looks like. So when I talk about that, I sit down and pull up my computer. This is my greatness tracker, which we'll go to in a second. But I open up my computer and I don't go to my email. I pull up Google Chrome, all right, as it bounces. And the very first thing that I do is pull up all my tabs. All right, 1 second, get this out of the way. So I use Google for everything. And I pull up, the first tab I do is my Google Calendar. I take a quick minute to look at it and go, okay, it's color coordinated. Red is for real estate, blue is for personal, green is for my birthday campaign, which is another topic that we could talk about later. But it's gotten really busy, so I always switch it to my week. So this is what I have coming up. We're here. Productive Agents is going to be wrapping up here soon. And then I have a showing at 5:30 and I have dinner with my daughter every Thursday, 6 to 8. So I block that off and I put everything in here. So I know like, oh, I got to get prepared for this. I have a meeting with Jim Ragsdale tomorrow morning. All right. And I have, again, my personal to-do list blocked off. So time blocking is super important, right? This is all blocked off. All right. And the great thing about being a realtor and the flexibility of it is you can move things around, but I highly recommend you don't delete them. It's okay for you to move something from here to here because something came up and you have to go do a showing, or you have to go, your kid is sick and you got to go pick them up. But whatever that 1 hour that you blocked off here, you need to move it either here or here or here. Try not to delete it. All right, just move it and make sure it gets done. All right. So that's the first one I pull up. Google Drive is super important to me. This is where I keep all my documents. Again, this is a whole nother conversation that we can discuss some other time, but this is a must. And this changed my entire career, is my hot warm list. Let me just go ahead and pull everything up and then we'll come back to these things. We also have my database that I pull that up. So I get all my tabs set up. All right, that's it for that. My next tab, I do a little bit of KV Core and I'll explain in a second. Dang, Shane, internet's slow. So that'll eventually come up. I pull up my MLS. And get that signed in. Again, at 9 o'clock, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to work. And the last thing I pull up, you might laugh, but I think it's super powerful, is Facebook. Again, I'm not going to spend much time on it. I'll show you what I do with it. But it's there. One of the first things I do is this is usually where it says, here's the birthdays for today. And I'll go into that in a second. All right, so now I have all my tabs up. I know what's coming up with my calendar. If I need to add something to my calendar, whatever it is, but I have my hot warm list. Okay. I'm going to go back to here for 1 second. I think it's here. Yeah. So when Shane and I first met, we built this greatness tracker, and the greatness tracker looked a little bit different, and it was based off the core training. We've talked about that, but we replaced some of these subjects here with things that I do in my business. All right. And you can replace them with whatever that you do in your business. A lot of it is based off of Ninja Selling, which these 2 items come directly from Ninja Selling. If you haven't read that book, that's step 1, is read that book. All right. And then so you see I have a social media right here, great phone calls with leads, referral partners, past clients, current clients. This section right here is my hot warm. These are the people that are interested in buying right now, said that they're interested in real estate, whatever it is. All right. And then these people are people that I know that are like in my database, in my sphere, but they're not necessarily doing business. It's just like we talked about, band. All right. But it's a connection. All right. I talked to him. I wished him a happy birthday because it was his birthday. So let's go down this real quick and just kind of see what these were. So my social media, this was a happy birthday post I put on her page. Alfonso Alvarado, happy birthday posts. All right. And I try to get 5 a day. And then this was Cassie Sanchez. I don't remember, but it was some kind of post. Holly Gonzalez, her husband's mother, I believe, passed away last week, unfortunately. And I put a comment on that. All right. Again, I'm not trying to get business. I'm literally just saying, hey, I'm so sorry for the passing. Our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. Nothing about real estate. I just want to have that connection with her. Again, I truly mean that. Like, I'm being genuine, right? I'm not trying to get anything out of that. She's a close friend of mine. I've played golf with her husband a lot, etc. So just that connection. And just staying in flow with people. All right. So really each one of these has a story. I can't go through all of them. Let's go to these people that are like buying and selling. He reached out to me and said, hey, we're thinking about getting out of our house. Okay, cool. Let's talk about it. She gave me a referral. So I reached out and said, thank you. All right. This one is an open house lead that I'm following up with. This was one of the referrals that I got, I believe, from Luann. All right. Ariel is another referral that I got from another past client. And she told me she had COVID. So I need to follow up with her probably later this week, see how she's doing. Hadi is an open house person. Reese Spurlock is a Facebook marketplace that has actually responded. And I have phone number, email, and what they're looking for is set up on a search. All right. Tiara Stafford. Honestly, at this time, I can't remember. But she has a story. Tomas Martinez, this guy told me he was going to buy a house a year ago. Then I followed up with him and he said, oh, we're using another realtor. I said, okay, cool. Best of luck. And guess what? The beginning of the year, he reached back out to me and said, hey, we didn't end up buying that house and we'd like to go with you. Okay, excellent. Let's meet up. So just continue to stay in contact. So those type of stories all the way throughout. Anything unique here? My thank you cards. Eddie Lozano gave me a referral. He gets a thank you card. Chase Smith gave me a referral. Amanda Crichtenden gave me a referral. Caitlin Dipburner, it was her birthday. I sent her a birthday card. Past client. Luann gave me a referral. She gets a card. And Melissa got a thank you card. And all of these thank you cards, I threw a $5 gift card in to Starbucks. All right. So those are impactful. I want to reward that activity and say, hey, thanks for that. Boom, here you go. Just a little something to thank you. And guess what? They're probably going to continue to think about me for a while. And if any other referrals come up, they're probably going to send them my way. real quick on the back of here, as I like you see on Wednesday, I had more than 5. I just flip it over. All right, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I can do this. I don't do all the boxes. I can kind of see through the paper. And then this one, you know, I reached out to her. She maybe commented on something. I can't remember all of these, but I need to go back in my notes and see what that looks like. All right. So this is keeping track of like how many contacts I've made. This is this week currently. All right. Bruce Bradbury goes right here because I'm going to do a real estate review, do that CMA. So it's ready to go for next Wednesday. All right. Once I do it, I don't know why I checked it off, but it's not done yet. So usually when it's done, I check. You'll see some of these people have no checks, right? So this means I reached out to Phil Alvarado, but he didn't respond in any way. So there was a reach, all right, but there was no contact and connection yet, all right? So when they respond, and even if they just like the comment that I put up there, that counts because that means they saw my name and they saw that comment and there was some kind of connection. I count that. I'm sure some other hardcore real estate coaches wouldn't count that because you didn't have, again, most of these conversations you'll notice, I'm not necessarily talking about real estate except for these guys. These guys, you know, are probably the most important because they're on my hot warm list. My hot warm list has evolved, and you're going to realize in your real estate career is always going to evolve, right? It's going from this place to that place, etc. But I started with my hot warm list, and it had like zero on it. Like Shane was like, you got to do a hot warm list. You got to do a hot warm list. Ninja Selling said, you got to do a hot warm list. I'm like, okay, I'll do a hot warm list. So I set it up and I was like, I don't even know who to put on here, right? And I guarantee you a lot of you that I know are then the same way. You're refusing to do a hot warm list, and I guarantee you it's going to change your real estate career. I promise you. So set up the hot warm list, even if it has 0 people on it. Doesn't matter at this point, because guess what? All of a sudden, God is going to go, you're doing the right things. Here's somebody thrown in your lap. Oh, there, all of a sudden, again, as soon as somebody raises their hand or asks a question or drops a comment, you know, saying that they're somewhat interested, they are now on this hot warm list. All right. And then as you see here, I have first name, last name. I have their status, right? Their status is UC. They're under contract, right? That's my abbreviation for it. Reference, I mean, I could go down the line here. I probably should. This is a sphere. All right. This is a sphere. All right. The last time I contacted them was today. I'm checking in on them. This one is under contract. It's a Luann was the referral. So that's how I know Chase and Jessica. All right. Jack, we've been searching. He's going to do his taxes and be in a great position to buy a house. Just talked to him today. All right. Mario Villarreal is my brother-in-law and my builder, which I'm super lucky to have, obviously, and very grateful. But I do business with them. And it's been a couple of weeks since I've talked to him, but he's family and we stay in contact a lot. Hadi, I don't even know his last name, but he's an open house, Hadi OH, all right? And he's searching. And the last time I reached out to him was here, all right? And so we could go down the line. A thing that I added that I love, because I was at one point going from here to KV Core to figure out what my notes said, to go, okay, now I know what to say to them and blah, blah. Here's the beautiful thing. You can add a comment. So these little yellow markers have a comment in here. And as you're having a conversation through text, through Facebook Messenger, through phone call, whatever it is, you can pull this up and click this button and go to edit and start adding fake note for class. All right. That's for me. I'll delete it later. And boom, I save it, whatever it is. This guy's building an Ashton Wood home and it's closing in April, mid-May. He's having some issues with the rental property. I talked to him about it. I got the owner's phone number here. His lease is up in March. Here's the contract construction manager's phone number. So what I love about this process, and I'm still working through it, I'm not perfect, but it's all in one place. and I can pull up Google Drive and see all the same stuff on my phone as well, which we can talk about that later. But that's really cool. And then as this grew, I started adding my team. Right, so you see that some of you, your names are over here in green, because these are my team and the agents that are in my personals. All right, and then these are the blues. This is a mentee, and these are a couple of my mentors that I want to make sure that I stay in touch with, and you know, sometimes whatever I'm sending these guys, I'm also sending these guys. All right, as a push and a motivation. All right. And then some of you on here might see your name here in yellow because you're on my list of agent attraction, right? Which is a totally another subject. But again, pretty much the same stuff that I'm sending these guys, I'm sending these guys, little motivation things, little whatever, staying in touch, staying relevant, you know, so that when they do go, hey, tell me about EXP, what the heck's going on? You know, you've been in contact with me. You seem to be doing really well. Oh, well, yeah. I'd love to meet with you. All right. So I keep track of this is my agent attraction, my team thing. All right. So that is what it looks like. And then I also on the same document, all right, I created more tabs. So let's look at my past clients. My past clients and the reference of how the heck I did this business. This was a referral. And Shane pointed this out as I was doing this. This is my very first deal back in November of 19. And I did a terrible job of staying in touch with them because I didn't know. All right. And in fact, this is funny. I pulled her up on Facebook and she's actually a realtor now. And I should have stayed in contact with her. But and I might reach out to her just to see how she's doing. So, but I think somebody referred her. Well, she obviously was a referral, but I can't remember who referred her. This was a marketplace lead. Again, my very first closed house buyer was a marketplace lead. Free advertisement. Took some time to sift through all the crap, because there is a lot of crap, I'm not going to lie. All right. But it works. And I'm probably going to list and buy a house here in the next month or two with a client that I met on Marketplace again. Jack Prager, a friend that worked at the Chamber of Commerce, invited me to an event. I met this guy that was visiting from Chicago. He goes, hey, I love it here. I want to buy. Okay, great. You know, I showed him houses. He was my second deal. A little bit faster now. Sal, referral from my wife. Colton, sphere of influence, somebody I know. Javier, met him at an open house. Jim Sims called my sign of the listing that I did for him. All right. SOI, Stephen Partita, Crichtons. This is a funny story real quick. I met them again, just introduce yourself, going back to introduce yourself, say, hey, how are you doing? Hey, what do you do for a living? And I served on jury duty with David, and we were all going around the room hating our life because we're in jury duty and got selected. And we're just like, oh yeah, that's what I do. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm a realtor. If you want to buy a house, let me know. You know, ha ha ha. And he goes, hey, I actually do want to buy a house. Awesome. Let's talk about this. And that ended up happening. And guess what? Amanda, his wife, just sent me a referral. Remember, I sent her a thank you card last week because she sent me her friend. Her friend's pre-qualified as of today. We're going to see a house today at 5:30. Boom. Because I said, hey, how are you doing? And this is what I do for a living. What do you do? Damn. I mean, just talk to people. Literally talk to people. Val Martinez, referral. SOI, met. See if there's any other funny stories in here. Brandy Sanchez, referral from my wife. Get your husband or wife or partner or whatever. They need to be carrying business cards and be talking about it and asking, you know, who do they know, and be ready to go out there and find business for you. All right. It's out there. Just open up your eyes. Open house, sphere. I don't know why this is getting slow. Referral. SOI, met. This was the neighbor of my dad. Military. They had to move. They were being relocated. Knocked on the door. Hey, how are you doing? I'm Val's son. I'm a realtor. heard you're thinking about selling your house. Yeah, I am. Well, come on in. Look at this. Sphere, 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 sphere. Yeah, I didn't know Teresa, but I knew her boyfriend, went to school with him. And I mentioned something. I reached out to him just saying, hey, man, it's been so long. How are you doing? This was months before they reached out to me. And then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 months after, I just checked in with Gapo. You know, it's been so long. How are you doing? I see you have a girlfriend on Facebook. On Facebook, I was doing some stalking. You know, you look really happy. You know, really happy for you, bro. You know, it's great. Boom. 2, 3 months later, hey, Teresa and I want to buy a house. Yeah, baby, let's do it. All right. Bought some lots for building for my brother-in-law. Obviously, it's nice to have that connection. Very small builder, but doing great things. Going to have a listing coming up here once they're done with the house in a couple months. What was this? Another referral from my wife. Man, my wife sent me a lot of business. Pretty sweet, you know, and she's your cheerleader, or your husband's your cheerleader. Get them out there with cards. Sphere, sphere, sphere. So I started going through this, and the referrals are really cool. And Shane pointed this out, and I've changed some of them. Really, a referral is your sphere, right? Your sphere referred you, and that's how you got it. So look at all the SOIs. We do have some open houses in here, all right? But there's quite a bit of SOIs. This one right here, Amet, Christina, you were there with me when I remember talking to that guy in the garage, Randy Whitehead, at the open house that you came by. I was like, well, they took down all my signs. All right, check this funny story. Took down all my signs because I guess they didn't have a sticker on it. And I was like, well, the only way I'm going to get traffic in here is go knock on some doors around here right before the open house. And I'm going to call you out a little bit, Christina. It's funny because it just get a laugh. She's like, oh my God, I feel so uncomfortable doing that. I was like, fuck it. Like, I mean, my signs have already been taken. This is my only shot. Started knocking on houses, got 0 people. I came across the house, pretty much across the street. Randy was working in the garage. Hey, sir, how are you doing? How's everything going? You know, just shooting the shit. By the way, we're doing an open house over here. All right. If you want to stop by, you know. Oh yeah, cool. All right, sweet. Well, yeah. It's like, have you ever thought about selling your house? He's like, oh, this is actually a rental. All right. Okay, no problems. And he goes, but I do want to buy my house when I get my credit better. I want to, you know, I had a house, I sold it, my credit went to shit, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Yeah, whatever. Let me get your contact. Here's my card. Got his contact. And then set him up on some just searches, or I don't even know how I stayed in contact with him, but it was somewhat consistent. And then he calls me like in December, and all of my emails were going to his junk file, and he found them, and he's like, oh my God, you've been contacting me. I'm so sorry. I messed up, you know, but I need to get out of this house and find a rental in 2 weeks. Can you help me? I was like, well, yeah, we got to get on it. Found him a way better house in the same area, got him into the rental. And he's like, dude, I want to buy a house in a year. My credit is really close. I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I'm going to stay in touch with you. You're going to get my emails. We're going to be in contact, and I need a deal next January. When your lease is up, I want a house ready to be sold or ready to buy. Right. So it's just, again, contacts. Go get more contacts, talk to people.
Hey, Tony.
And really where it's at. Yep.
Hey, one thing I think is interesting is when you first started and you and I would meet and I would talk to you about my sphere, you would always say to me, I don't really have a sphere. Like, I don't have a sphere. And now almost everything you have is from sphere. So I think everybody's got a sphere, and obviously it grows, you know?
Absolutely. It definitely grows. And it grows organically just by, again, don't be a secret agent. People have to know that you're in real estate. All right. And again, it's not salesy. I don't post too much about it, but I do my property of the days, Tuesday and Thursday. And the funny thing is, I've had friends, when I'm not consistent with it, they go, hey man, where's your property of the days? It's like, oh, you actually see that shit? Like, oh, okay. I need to keep doing that. Yeah. And exactly, Mark. I mean, your sphere, obviously, you have an awesome email marketing and your mailers going out and doing all those things. And obviously you do really, really well with that. And those were the things that I'm still kind of missing, and I'm hoping to implement this year because I think they could only help, right? But again, I'm pretty active on social. Mark is not necessarily as active on social. He will, though. He's going to get there.
Definitely.
And then, but yeah, I mean, look at all this sphere. Pretty much almost everything is a sphere. Random open house. And this person, I'm going to call Colin out real quick. I love you, Colin, and you're doing a hell of a job. Keep at it. Colin is so cute with beginner agents, because I was there too. I just asked Mark. He could tell you all kinds of stupid questions I asked. All right, but Colin was like, "Well, I got this lead and they contacted me, and I contacted them, but then they ghosted me." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Do you have the contact information? That's all you really need." Guess what? In 2 days, reach back out to them and see if they respond. These people ghost you all the time, man. It happens. And so that's what I love about going back to this thing, is my greatness tracker. Let's see, right? If I get here on Thursday and I start looking at here, I go, okay, this person responded. This person didn't. Let's go back here. Hadi hasn't responded. All right. So guess what? I'm going, let me go ahead and text them again. Now, if they ghost you time after time after time, probably after like 12 attempts, then yeah, maybe move on, right? But this keeps track of the people that have responded. So there was a lot of birthdays in my Facebook group today, all right? So this was a birthday, this was a birthday, this was a birthday, this was a birthday, this was a birthday. All I want them to do is like that comment, all right? And it's, hey, I made a contact. Contacts equal contracts, all right? And that's really what it's about. I'm going to leave you with this. In 2020, EXP in San Antonio hosted this big kickoff event, and Dayton Schrader was kind of the head of speaking at it. I remember this story, and it stuck with me. He talked about his business and how kind of when he very first started, he was young and this and that. And then all of a sudden, he found out that they were expecting their first child. And he went, oh, shit, right? And he just decided that moment, like, I got to support this family. And he just went to work. And that was really his whole message to like hundreds of agents in the room. They were like, oh, Dayton Schrader. And he's amazing. I love his email. I love everything about him. He has incredible business, obviously. But he goes, you just got to go to work, man. You got to go to work. You got to show up every day and go to work. All right. And whatever that is, like, don't make excuses, and don't say, oh, well, I have to take care of my child on this day and that day and this, and then they got sick. And I know things happen, right? Ricky Cruz said this in that podcast. I highly recommend you listen to it. And that he's like, even on my bad days, when like life happens, because life will happen, life's going to happen to me. I'm going to have bad days. All right. And he goes, even on my bad days, I still make like three or four calls. All right. Maybe 5, but I know on my great days, I crushed it and did a whole bunch of contacts and communication and killed it. It's okay to do that, from time to time, right? Don't let that be the norm, right? Because that's way more, he does way more than majority of agents, and you're going to be successful and stand out that way.
Quick
All right.
question.
Yep.
Do you reach out during the week? And if so, what time?
Again, my 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock block. And then I will be honest, recently, I have not done too many phone calls. A lot of it is text messaging. And for the most part, we get good responses on that.
You know what I would say, Tony, about that?
Yeah.
There's studies that show, like, they'll say like, oh, the best time to call people is between 2 and 3. And, the next best time is between 9 and 10. Well, yeah, those are true, but the studies are not telling you that no 1 hour is any percent better. It might be 1 or 2% different. So what you need to do is just decide when you're going to do it and do it. Just keep on doing it. If it's 9 to 10 every day, then that's your time. If you want to add, from 5:30 to 6, that'd be great. Then you got 2 times and you're more likely to catch people. But as long as you're doing stuff, that's what you got to do. Tony, me and him talk about this stuff all the time. But really what the key is go out and be active. Tony told me a story just the other day where he was at Starbucks and a guy came in. I don't know if you're going to tell us later, but I'm going to tell it right now.
Yeah.
The guy came in and bought the next 5 people after him their coffee inside, right? I've seen people do that in the drive-through by the next person, but this guy bought 5 people coffee, and Tony came and told me that, excited about it. And I was like, well, what did you learn from that? All 5 of those people probably went to their place of work and said like, hey man, some guy bought me coffee. But what if that would have been Tony? They would be saying, hey, some realtor bought me coffee at Starbucks today. What if it was you? They'd be saying, maybe Tristan bought me coffee today. And are they going to remember that? They're going to remember that for a long time. And so if you don't get their information, that's kind of a lost story. And, Tony's saying hand out cards. I believe in that, but I don't take cards. I have 2 boxes of cards back here. I've never even opened them. You know why? Because I'd rather have your information than them have mine, because I can guarantee you I'm going to call them. If you give them their card, that's great. That's good. And I'm not saying not to do it, but the chances of them calling you are a lot less than you calling them. So what needs to happen? You need to be prepared to get their information, right? So if Tony were to buy 5 people coffee, all he has to do is say like, yeah, I try to buy 5 people coffee once a week. In exchange for it, I like to get their cell phone numbers. Who can do me a favor and give me your cell phone number? What's yours? 210, and let them finish it for you. More than likely, they're going to give it to you because you just bought them a cup of coffee. And then you can text them, hey, it was nice to meet you today in Starbucks. I was happy to buy you a cup of coffee, with your signature being, I'm the best realtor in the world, at the bottom, and so now you have theirs, and then you stay on them no matter what. Tony says like, hey, 12 times go by. You know how many people I've texted 25 times and they've never replied to me? A lot, but eventually they reply. And so I don't give up. I don't take them off my list. Anyway, you can see I would go on for hours, but go ahead and close it out, Tony.
No, I was just thinking, like, if you're in San Antonio and you're doing real estate, I think you need to meet with Shane Tokum one-on-one. And he's going to say, well, do what Tony says, do what Tony's doing. All right. And that's not to pump me up by any means. But I know personally, meeting with Shane one-on-one has completely changed my life. And I'm super excited of where we're headed. I know he's made a massive impact on Mark, and I don't want to share his story. Maybe he wants to at this point or later. But he really impacted Mark's life as well, and many others across the years. But,
yeah, let me chime in with that just a little bit. I reached out to Shane. I forgot who turned me on to you, Shane. Oh, actually, you came to one of the trainings I did. But anyway, I reached out at the beginning of the pandemic in April, and I was in from January, February, March, I had not closed a deal. So I was kind of at a really low point. And Shane was a person that really kind of helped me get out of the funk, if you will, and put me back on track. So yeah, if you ever get an opportunity to sit down and just get to know him, he's a wealth of information and a great, I guess I'd call you a life coach, Shane, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I get accused of that, but
Shane.
I can remember the last meeting I had with Mark. I was like, Mark, you don't even need me. You know what to do better than I know what to do. And all he said to that was, I just like the positivity, because him and I get along really well, and we have great conversation. And sometimes you need that in your life too. And I'm happy to do that for anybody. But things like this, Tristan asked a good question. Tony's asked a couple of good questions. I think it's Tony. Anyway, I like to see, like, what else do you guys want to know? And it doesn't have to be right now, but you can get my number from Tony and text me, ask me questions, whatever you guys need. But if you have any closing questions, I'd love to hear them. I'm in no hurry. I don't know if Tony is.
No, I'm in no big hurry. I'm actually going to type your phone number in right here. Yeah, I don't know. My brain was going elsewhere. I lost my train of thought. But no, all this stuff is great. And again, go watch last week because I think that's super important. You got to. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. I knew it.
I see Tristan unmuted. Do you have a question, Tristan?
I did, but I can wait until the end.
No, go ahead, Tristan.
I'm about to be 21 years old, so I'm pretty young.
Nice.
It's at the end of the month is my birthday, but I'm just wondering, like, I think one of my biggest challenges, I have no problem like talking to people and giving them my card or getting their info or going out and meeting, but like that's my favorite thing to do. Like, you know, like I said, every day I go out and I try to talk to someone new, but it's like, how do I get people to like want to work with me since I'm so young? You know, people are like, oh, that's nice, you know, you're a realtor, but it's also like, I'm not, you know, in my 30s, so people don't trust me.
Sure. You know what I would say to that is those thoughts are only in your head right now. You don't put those thoughts in other people's head, you know, because they might not be thinking it. If you are intelligent and you know your market better than anybody, then maybe you got to work a little bit harder than you know, say Mark, than to prove that, but not much. I mean, if you come off as professional and you know the market and you want to help them, then they'll believe you. You know, if you meet somebody for the first time and you do like Tony said, like you show up the next time and you have the CMA for their house, they're gonna be like, this kid's for real. You know, right now I'd be thinking, like, if I was you and I'm as aggressive as you are and I'm asking the questions you are and I'm surrounding myself with the people you are, this kid's gonna be a millionaire by the time he's 30. You know, and I want to be on that train.
That's the goal. But
yeah, the only thing you don't let anybody, they're not thinking that unless you think they are. You're only thinking they are. Get in your head what you want them to think and then be that.
Yeah, yeah, Val, I'll get to you in just 1 second. I want to jump in on that. Is as long as you present yourself in at least a semi-professional way, they're not going to go, oh, this guy's super young. All right. So I think that's pretty important. All right. So, you know, I'm not saying you have to be in a suit or anything. I'm very cash. I'm a teacher. Like I show up in this little sweater and, you know, some chinos. All right. And every now and then I have some dress pants and a button down. Right. But I'm not saying like you have to go extreme and change your wardrobe and do all these crazy things, but you have to look professional in your approach to that. And I also think about this, like you probably have a lot of friends that are in your age bracket, right? That are probably not necessarily buying houses yet. Maybe they're renting. Maybe you could put them in a rental, you know, and stay in touch with them and you help them in that way. Right. But you also want to think about making your list. Do you have your database of your friends and family?
I do. Just the biggest problem for me recently was Tony's question earlier. Like, when do you call people? Like, my dad's been a salesman in San Antonio for damn near 30 years. So I have he's been sending me contacts, and so I go over to his house and we talk about these people, so I can have something to talk to them. They're like, oh, my dad from this, and y'all did this, and and I have 120 people on a list right now, but I haven't reached out to any of them yet because I just.
Are you here in San Antonio?
I am, yeah.
Tristan,
you should come over and we can talk about that.
Tristan, okay. The first thing that comes to mind is I would take that list and try to get their addresses if you don't already have that.
Yeah, I literally put that on my list today. Is start your SOI calls and get their addresses, because I want to write letters. And I have this ring right here that's my grandpa's, and it has a family crest on it. And my aunt bought me a wax stamper, and so I want to be able to write letters and send a wax seal and
Yeah. I like that a lot. And then also the other thing, do real estate reviews, right? Do 2 real estate reviews a day. You get those addresses going. And even if today you got 2 addresses, guess what? Later tonight or tomorrow, you're going to send 2 real estate reviews to that.
Right?
on their properties?
Yes. On their property. So you're going to go, okay, here's your address. I'm going to pull up a CMA. I'm going to find the value of your home. This is approximately how much your house is worth. Here's a list of all of the homes that have sold in your neighborhood in the past year. All right. That's one sheet of paper. The other packet is based off your square footage. You don't know anything about their house, but based off your square footage and the average price per square foot, I believe your house is valued at $368,000.
Okay.
And it's in a range of 360 to 380, whatever it is. And let's talk about that. And I can walk you through that one-on-one, and maybe I'll even do a video of that.
So then you put those in the mail and you do 2 a day, and then you text that person, say like, hey, I just mailed you something that you might be interested. Let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, that's the thing is I have all these people I want to call. I just need to get their addresses, so I can start sending these letters.
For sure, because guess what? All of a sudden they're not thinking like, oh, this 21-year-old just wants to sell me a house. They're going, this person just provided me value.
Exactly.
And they're going, wow, look at this. He seems to know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Let's give him a call.
Okay.
Right.
So within my letter, attach a CMA.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay, I'll write that down. That sounds good.
Val, you got a question?
I do. I think for me, I think my next step really is kind of marketing, but I find it a little bit intimidating to find the resources to look up like where the market is in our area and what's going on. And I know I saw you posted something today, I think. And so I just didn't know if y'all had places where you could look. I should be better at social media because of my age, but I'm not. And even though I post and I absolutely stay in touch with people, that's something that I love to do. I'm intimidated with making posts and putting out information because I want it to be accurate and I want people to take me seriously. So if y'all have resources where you can find things quickly and put things together, that would be very valuable for me.
I guess he's pulling up RPR right now, right?
Well, I'm pulling up a couple different things that come to mind as far as sources, but you can go to sabre.com. All right. And when you go to members only over here, they have these things that you can download and show what the market statistics are. Just got to find it quickly. Let's see, it is it being blocked over here? Yeah, Realtor resources right up here. All right, and then you come down to market statistics. Don't worry, because I only found this like a few months ago.
Hey, Val, also, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
When
sir.
you're doing an open house for me on Sunday, when you do that, post about that, take the photos of the listing, make a, do that kind of thing. You can even do a video walkthrough or a live. I don't know how you feel about doing live on Facebook, but
I'm willing to try anything and I will do it. It'll just be my first live. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes.
Or just put a video. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Or you
live.
can
I'd
put
be
a video,
scared. I
yeah.
wouldn't. I'm not good at that either.
Yeah, so Val, reach out to me and let's set up a time to meet and talk about social media. And I would not say that I'm a wizard at it, but I do it frequently. And honestly, most of the stuff that I've learned is through my wife, and also following people on social media. So like on Instagram, I start following, and not necessarily realtors, but I follow Sabre. I follow things, or I follow San Antonio Express News. Like, oh, this would be a good article to put in my newsletter for the email. So then I take that link and I send it to my email, right? And I kind of create a folder on my computer. And then when I'm going, okay, it's time to set up my newsletter. Let me go open that folder. Oh, that's great. Let's put that link in there and briefly talk about it. But here you have all of these reports that are the area week in sales. You've probably seen this, maybe if you follow the Sabre on Instagram or Facebook, they post this, and this would be this. And I guess they haven't updated it since then. And I think they updated like a week late. All right. So you have those things that are there. Gosh, this is so annoying. How do I get out of here? There we go. Man, what's bogging down? And then you have quarterly home sales, the fourth quarter of 2021. I haven't even looked at this, so I don't know what's going to pop up eventually after I click it. But you can,
Are you getting that, Val? Or
I am. Yeah. I'm on it right now on my computer as well. So I'm.
So that's where I get some of the stuff. And reach out to me. Let's talk about it. And
you know what? We're gonna have a training. We'll do a training. We should do one just on this, Tony, for newer agents.
Yeah,
and we should have them come in and bring their laptops, and they could be actively live doing it while we're showing them.
Finding social media content. Yeah.
No, well, just how to do these and the CMAs with RPR.
Yeah.
That'd be a real valuable class for anybody really, but 1 to 2 year agents.
John Totten taught me how to do a quick CMA summary, and it's like,
Yeah.
wow, that was
Yeah,
super
we could
fast.
teach all that and the
Yeah.
RPR and what to mail so it looks professional.
Yeah.
You know,
No, that sounds good.
Val, you're here in San Antonio also?
Yes, sir. I'm here in San Antonio.
Okay, you don't have to call me sir.
Sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.
I was a teacher for 16 years, and
I was a teacher for 5 years. Yeah, if you want to come by, I'd love to meet with you too. And I don't know if you guys got my cell phone number, but if y'all can text me, I'll start reaching out to you. If you text me, be aware of what's coming from me, because I follow up like nobody. So I'd love to meet each of you in person if you have time.
Well, cool. Do we have any other questions? I could keep this going. I'll probably cut some of this off for the recording.
I have one question on your daily tracker.
Yeah.
How come some of the days hardly had anything on it?
Well, the last few days is because that's tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I see that.
Right.
Well, one day only has a half.
But I'll brag about this. On Monday, my dad asked me to go play golf.
Okay.
Right. And of course, I wanted to play golf. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't play golf. I got to focus on my business. I got to go to work. That's what millionaires do, right? Like, that's what I want to be. But I also thought about my good friend, Mark Chambers, who wants to play more golf. So I invited him to play, and we had a great time. And I go, that's okay. My tee time's at 11:30. If I'm getting up at 5 a.m. and doing my workout and doing all these great things, I can still be at Starbucks from 9 to 11 and do work, knock out a couple of hours of work and still make contacts. And boom, I mean, I made probably 15 contacts that day, or at least reaches. And then I played some golf. I came back around 4 o'clock. I did 2 more hours of work. And then I went to a buyer's consultation that night. So it was a jam-packed. I still had fun. And again, the flexibility of moving around your blocks of work is pretty awesome. So
yeah. I was just kidding you.
I know. But yeah, I am a slacker. You got to step it up. Well,
Quick
cool.
question.
Yep.
Will you be sharing the templates for like the hot warm list?
I can absolutely do that. What is a good email for you, Tony?
TonyLandaverde@gmail.com.
Got it. No dots or anything.
Nope.
Landaverde.
LANDAVERDE.
Got it. Perfect. It's a Google Doc, so I'll just share that with you here in a little bit.
Okay.
And you'll have the documents that I use. Again, I think they're great. They've really helped me. They're not the only way to do it, but it helps me, and I think it would help you if you use it. So.
Well, I like that it's kind of very simple, breaks the way you broke it down.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And again, none of this is like I created. It comes from the core. We adapted it to my business with Shane's help. And then it's do whatever works for you, right? Do whatever works. I know this works for me and I want to share it. And I highly encourage y'all to try it at least and go, hey, I like that, or take it and adapt it to you. You don't do any social media? Okay, change that top line to something else.
I do a lot of social media.
So yeah, I appreciate it.